Football people, four is in the books. That means week 5 is coming up. Bye weeks are coming up.
Yeah.
But we're doing a buy and sell on if you should buy on these running backs or you should sell on them. Maybe it was a flop, you know. Some guys get good. Lightning strikes once, right? We're gonna start off with some duos, those teams with the double running backs that you were probably thinking of. We'll start off in Detroit, Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs. What do you,
Man, looking back at Montgomery over the past few years that I've had him, I think I'm okay with holding on to him for a while because sometimes it's the running back curse. Every now and then they don't do too great, but when they do, they do. And looking at his fucking points from last year, his lowest was a 1.1, which was on us. But after that, they were consistently 5 to 8 to 21, stuff like that. So if it's boom or bust like that, I'm willing to hold on to him, especially if I need the depth.
I would play that fool this week for sure.
Yeah.
Like I definitely wouldn't get rid of him this week against the Panthers. So
does
Yeah.
he hold more value, I guess, going into this week than Jamar Gibbs does? Like,
I think it depends on your running back situation.
well, I'm just saying, like, if you have like
you're
if
talking
you're
about like on their team or on your fantasy team?
on your
Because
fantasy
like
team, like
On
if
your fantasy team, he definitely holds more value.
yeah, because he was getting the touchdown, he was getting the goal line work,
right.
he was getting more touches. So he had,
Because I mean, we're speaking to two different owners here. I'm pretty sure most people don't have the handcuff of
Yeah.
Montgomery and Gibbs, so I'm pretty sure Gibb owners are very pissed off, and Montgomery owners are probably happy. But do y'all see a shift at some point?
I don't see a shift. I think it's just their style of play is why it has to be that way.
Yeah.
Because like Montgomery can be your number one fantasy running back maybe because he can get the touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that'll make up for yards. But Jameer Gibbs might not get touchdowns, but he's going to get a shit ton of yards.
So it kind of feels like Gibbs owners where you
Gibb,
got him at is probably
yeah.
not worth what you have him at because it sounds like he's a decent flex, but most people that got him probably reached for him thinking he was going to be that guy,
Well,
and
right
he's
now, I think Gibbs, his only saving grace is his pass catching ability.
yeah,
So that's only if you're in PPR. If you're not in PPR, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
But he
Well, that's
can
what I'm
run
saying.
the fucking ball though. He
He can,
can.
but he just can't break the tackles, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's also I think how they use him, but that's what I'm saying because I know people that would have Gibbs are probably wondering what do I do. Most people that's their second best running back on their team. If he's your third, you're lucky. You got a nice flex, I feel. But Montgomery owners, I mean, they're pretty much happy, I think, at this point because you probably got him for absolutely nothing or picked
Yeah,
him up off the waiver wire.
You know why Jameer Gibbs ain't doing good? Because they didn't expect Laporta to do that good. He's in his way.
probably. Probably. Laporta's taking all the pass catching from him for sure.
I mean, that that does make a good sense, actually. All right, Montgomery owners, Gibbs owners, write it out. You still got two good running backs or a good running back.
No,
Going
they're
on
two.
to another duo, and this one is a little weird. Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson,
I'm so
Chicago
mad.
Bears.
I'm so mad about this.
They finally played a good game as a whole offense.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like Khalil Herbert was the better running back with more snaps in week 4. Is this one of those situations though where it's just kind of like
Here's
in
my thing,
all
bro.
right,
Is I couldn't take any stock from that game anyway. Because it's the Broncos.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Them playing Washington next week, that might be somewhat okay, I guess. But I don't see him doing all that again.
And another thing that I always take into consideration with the running backs is the best running back on that team is your quarterback.
Yeah.
yeah, it he is definitely a run first quarterback, it seems, and that just hurts both at this point. Now, if you're, I guess, who has more value, Herbert or Roshan Johnson? Because I mean, a lot of people are holding on to Johnson, hoping.
I think Herbert has
I was
more
gonna
value
say
to a fantasy team.
at the moment, Herbert definitely holds more value on your fantasy
Yeah,
team.
Just being 100 in real life, that team is so bad you can't reach deep in the bag. should try to make some shit happen. Like you got to play with what you got and see if you can win some games. So I think just Herbert's the guy, so they're gonna play him.
Yeah.
So if you have Johnson on your team, is he worth dropping if you need a key piece, especially in bye week?
He would, depending on how many more guys on your bench are like him. Yeah, I would consider it.
Like if he's like your 5th running back and you need a receiver.
Oh, for sure, he would be one of the guys that I'd dump.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's what I figured. I'm
not loyal to him if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Another one, and this one is, I mean, pretty for both owners. I mean, it was lopsided this week, but Raheem Mostert, David Achane, however you want me to say it, my bad, bro.
Whatever, yeah.
Achane. Who out of this one? I mean, Raheem Mostert fumbled the ball. We've seen this before, and it seems like the rookie is using up all his stock right now, and they are buying into it.
I think that's pretty close to a 50-50 workload there.
But what do you think's going to happen when Jeff Wilson Jr. comes back?
I don't think that they're going to touch what's working right now. I think whoever plays worse out of these two will maybe get their spot taken, but also like Jeff Wilson, he's just the banger on that team. That's what you're there for. So like, I don't really have to play you unless I need you.
Mm-hmm.
So Achane's had 2 really, really good weeks. Mostert had a good week 3, and then week 4, very bad. Are you worried about Mostert, or should you?
No, I wouldn't be. I mean, because if you really think about it, it's like Achane's one fuck up away from them giving Mostert the ball more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a coin flip. Like, all right, who's not?
Like Achane, my thing about him is like I wouldn't consider him like he couldn't be your best running back on a fantasy team, but he's a good 2 or a great flex.
And I've seen a lot of people have him at flex, and I'm like, wow, that is gold right there. Moving on to single running backs that had really good games. We'll start off with Brian Robinson.
I like him.
Yep.
He's like the only thing working on that team.
I've been trying to trade for him. Nobody will bite.
He did.
I would just keep playing him until he gives me a reason not to.
I mean,
the fumble in the end zone was almost reason.
Almost, but not quite.
I was gonna say, do you think if people that watched it, I'm pretty sure with that fumble, you could get a scared owner of Brian Robinson if you put something nice out there for them to bite. I feel.
Yeah.
Because I'm all in on Brian Robinson also, but I do feel that there are a few owners that with those slippery hands, they're like, nah.
Like, what do you value him in terms of equal trade for a receiver? Like, is he like Olave level, or is he like George Pickens level?
Pickens.
Man, I have him like flirting with Olave level a bit.
That's what I feel too. That's why I brought that up. Like, you can't be the best, but like you're like that tier right underneath it.
Well, definitely not Olave this year. But
we know what he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But I think right now, like, I'm thinking, I don't know that he'd be Pickens. He might be a little bit higher than that to me.
Like a Zay Flowers.
Yeah, something like
a good wide receiver 2 on a team, but like because he kind of is like an RB2 if we're being like, I don't want you as my main guy, but if you're like behind like Bijan,
but I feel like if you like, he's the kind of dude who could be your one if you have a like consistent 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it also matters on how you draft it. You have like Patrick Mahomes and like 2 really, really good wide receiver 1s or a Travis Kelce with that, like, or somehow.
Let me ask you this: do you value him? We obviously don't value him as a CMC, Saquon, like Paul does, but is he equivalent to like a Breece Hall
from last year?
Yeah, like right now, who do you value more, Breece or Brian Robertson?
Brian Robinson, no problem.
Robinson, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's worth it to me.
Like I'm putting him in every week and not worrying about it until he screws me over.
Yeah.
Or gets hurt.
Yeah, or gets hurt. Yeah. Like at this point, it's his job to lose, and I'm with it. Speaking of a guy, he wasn't hurt, but he came back. Alvin Kamara.
Man,
People that held him got him for a late pick. You had riches this week of him benefiting like we do, especially in PPR leagues.
this is insane. In a regular league, no PPR, he had 8.4 points. PPR, he had 21.4 because of them 13 catches Zach was talking about. So if you're in a PPR league, for sure, you need to be holding on to Alvin Kamara. You did the right thing by stashing him.
I don't know what the fuck is going on with that offense over there, but it looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that offense is. I really even like if I was an Olave owner, I'm kind of worried. No matter who's at quarterback, what's going to happen longevity wise down that, because even a hurt Derek Carr, healthy Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, it just looks weird.
Yeah, the problem is they're going to fire the coach before they change the quarterback again. So,
Yeah.
I might trade Olave.
I mean, enjoy it, Kamara owners. You got some stuff. A guy that struggled drastically week 4, Aaron Jones,
Ugh.
Detroit. That was one of the worst run games. I can't even say run games. I don't even know what he did out there. But
Ugh.
should you be worried as an Aaron Jones fan?
Nah. And I think that whole team came out unprepared that day. Like it just felt different, like they weren't ready to play. But
they lost their left tackle like that same day.
Yeah, Bakhtiari, the third best left tackle, according to Calvin. No, I'm not worried about. You can't be worried about him because you drafted him too high.
Yeah, I was about to say he's probably one of your RB1s for most people. A guy that is I would say a running back too is Isaiah Pacheco. He had a game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Against a tough defense in the Jets. Is it something you can buy on for longevity wise, or is that team still too many weapons, too many?
I'm buying in on it because fucking somebody made a comment the other day, or they were talking about how many games Pat Mahomes wins when they have 100 yards rushing. It was a pretty good freaking number. But then somebody was like, all right, if Pat's the best player and then Kelsey's the second best player, somebody else has to step up. And they're like, it has to be Pacheco. And then he went and did that. Because you can't go away from it. I think his opportunities are going to increase. So he's just going to do better.
I mean,
yeah. I think as long as he keeps it up, I could consider him as a RB1 if he does shit like that every week.
He kind of like is what Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a few years ago. Like everybody wanted that guy for PPR leagues, and he just stepped right in and took the spot. And when Mahomes likes you, you're gonna make sure you get that ball.
Yep.
A guy that probably had his best week in the fantasy, Josh Jacobs.
God fucking damn it, man.
Pretty much everybody on his team was hurt. He ran.
I'll say, if Jimmy comes back, then he takes a dump again.
Oh yeah, no doubt. This week, 27.9 points PPR wise, 17 attempts, 58 yards with a touchdown, and then he had 8 receptions on 11 targets for 81 yards. So, yeah, that's pretty much the best as what you would hope for an RB1. You know, you drafted him high enough to be an RB1. So, as long as he could keep that up, I'm still in on it. But it's like Zach said, I don't see him doing it with Garoppolo there.
If I'm a Josh Jacobs fan or owner, I'm probably trying to trade him for something really good this week.
I would definitely try to trade for him if you could get him, because I have a sneaky suspicion he's getting traded in real life.
Probably.
And if a team trades for him, that means they're going to use him.
Vikings? No, just kidding.
No.
Never know. I mean, he's not going back to that team, so they're not going to have to give up a lot for him.
There you go, Cleveland. You can trade for him.
I'll give him no ideas.
Nah. Another guy that had probably his best game of the week, Derrick Henry. Are you buying any stock in this? Is this something that can go for the season for Derrick Henry owners, or?
No, I'm still not buying stock in it.
It's one of those things where I don't want to buy stock in it because who he did it against. But then also it's like, it is Derrick Henry, and that's Derrick Henry shit. So I mean,
he had 14.
it's about and now it's just a matter of usage, right? Like if they
Yeah.
continue to use him, he's gonna put up numbers.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it does seem like the game that they got destroyed in against Cleveland, he only had 2. That whole offense looked terrible. But then when his offense is working well, he does pretty decent. 14, 18, 24. So it's kind of like we know how it is. I do feel that the health is going to be a problem with him. They kind of know that with Taji getting some of the reps also. So I think it's just something to look out for. But hey, you're doing good if he did it. A guy that had one, Dameon Pierce, Houston Texans.
Yeah, good game.
He did.
He's catching balls. He's running.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some PPR points.
This as a Texans fan, this is gonna be the most messed up thing I'm gonna say all day. Is like the system obviously favors him in that way. I don't know if he's gonna do that good with our starting lineup, our starting O-line coming back.
Why not?
I just don't know if they're gonna play as hard as those other guys did, because that's why they did so good. Because Kendrick Green and them, they fucking had some penalties, but they played their heart out.
Yeah.
It's like, is Titus and Laramie gonna give me that effort?
We'll have to see for sure. Titus will definitely be rusty. Laramie will be rusty, so it's going to be interesting to watch.
But the backups got hurt, so they have to play.
Yeah, I know. What's it called? We can go to Breece Hall.
Man, I told you against Denver, I think he's gonna go off.
At this point, anybody plays Denver, you might as well just play them because that defense is one of the worst defenses we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I will say this: if you're a Breece Hall owner and you don't want him, hold him for the week, play him this week against the Broncos. His stock will go up, and then you can trade him.
Trade him to me.
You can still trade him right now. I've been trying to trade for Breece Hall for 3 weeks.
This is a fantasy related, but is there a better home run hitter running back? Like when he gets loose, it's like, whoa, that looked cool. Nobody else's shit looks that way, right?
Yeah, so good. Last one on my list is James Cook, Buffalo Bills. Are y'all buying stock in this?
I'm still not buying in. I think honestly, I would try and sell him right now because he's too iffy. It's the same kind of thing with Josh Jacobs. I think, once Garoppolo's back, Josh Jacobs is gonna suck. Once Josh Allen has to run, James Cook is gonna suck. Like he's been consistent. He put up 10 points, 19 points, 13 points, 14 points. I think right now is the time to just sell him as high as you can.
Probably.
He plays Jacksonville next week. Maybe you could get a good game out of him, but I still say now is the time to sell him high.
I'm all for selling him.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that his good game is so low.
Yeah.
The expectations of a James Cook good game is so low that it's like, you're not worth being on my team.
Yeah. Nah, I'm all right. Well, fantasy football people, make sure that you look at your team, running back especially. It's been a brutal season so far. We're only in week 5.
Mm-hmm.
Bye weeks are coming in. Make sure you check out us live every Sunday at 8 a.m. Central Time. We got you covered on who to start, who to sit. I have to say, not to jinx it, but Zach's biggest players that he's been picking to blow up have pretty much blown up every week so far. Caleb has been pretty good at declaring busts. I have busted on all my picks, so this week I'm not even worried about it. But that being said, make sure you like, subscribe to the network. We got you covered in all fantasy football content. Drop a comment if you got any questions about your rosters or anything else, any trades. We got you covered. We'll answer them. Much love, everybody. Good luck in week 5. Good luck with hopefully no injuries. We out.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.